Hello, and thank you for joining the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozugbakun. Today on the program, President Buhari orders lockdown of Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja over coronavirus as pandemic spreads across the globe. And later on the show, Somali president claims Boko Haram members were trained in his country as a theater commander opens up on the challenges troops face against the war against insurgents. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Cyril Abako. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. Now, the coronavirus has continued to spread, and now the world is no longer at ease. The number of casualties in Nigeria has surpassed the 100 mark. To contain this, President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered for a lockdown of Lagos, the worst hit in the country, as well as Ogun State and Abuja from 11 p.m. Monday. On a national broadcast on Sunday, President Buhari said government is committed to enforcing containment measures to control the spread of COVID-19, urging residents to comply with the various directives. Let's hear from Mr. President.
The advice of the Federal Ministry of Health and the NCDC, I am directing the cessation of all movements in Lagos and the FCT for an initial period of 14 days with effect from 11 p.m. on Monday, 30th March 2020. This restriction will also apply to Ogun State due to its close proximity to Lagos and the high traffic between the two states. All citizens in these areas are to stay in their homes. Travel to or from other states should be postponed. All businesses and offices within these locations should be fully closed during this period. The governors of Lagos and Ogun states, as well as the minister of the FCT, have been notified. Furthermore, heads of security and intelligence agencies have also been briefed. We will use this containment period to identify, trace, and isolate all individuals that have come into contact with confirmed cases. We will ensure the treatment of confirmed cases while restricting further spread to other states. This order does not apply to hospitals and all related medical establishments, as well as organizations in healthcare-related manufacturing and distribution. Furthermore, commercial establishments such as A, food processing, distribution and retail companies, B, petroleum distribution and retail entities, C, power generation, transmission and distribution companies, and D, private security companies are also exempted. Although these establishments are exempted, access will be restricted and monitored. Workers in telecommunication companies, broadcasters, print and electronic media staff who can prove they are unable to work from home are also exempted.
After a long while, Babajide, yes, there have been this call, straight call. Mr. President should give Nigerian leadership. He should talk to us. We need Mr. President to talk to us. Yes. He's our leader. We expect him to say something. Why is he keeping quiet? The president has gone to Cuba. He has been resting. Now, Mr. President came in Abuja and had a national broadcast. And some people will talk about that flag behind that, oh, it was from one place in Cuba.
No, you see, you cannot, when ignorant people demonstrate their ignorance, there's nothing we can do. I posted something on Facebook. I said, so El-Rufai has also tested positive, and people said, oh, Jide is mocking El-Rufai. So, in that context, connotes disbelief. It's like saying, can you imagine El-Rufai? You know, something like that. It's like you are in a conversation with someone and you want to be convinced that it's really true. So, are you saying El-Rufai? You know, they said, oh, Jide, he does not like El-Rufai. You know, see the elevated ignorance of some Nigerians.
Determined ignorance. They just,
so when someone said, oh, the president read that speech from the basement of a Cuban hotel, and it only takes someone whose reasoning faculty has taken a flight to say something, others will just latch upon it.
And it will just
That's the thing. This is the way some of our people
it's
are.
not green, white, green.
And unfortunately, in an era in which we should really be grateful that we belong to the generation that saw the internet, the world's greatest invention since light. Look at the way we are using the internet. We are using it to promote hate amongst our people and try to present the president as someone who had died, who was then cloned, you know.
From Sudan, what's the name of the Jubril from Sudan? Some people still believe that
the truth is,
till today.
For me, I wanted the president to address us. All the talk that, oh, after all, Trump was making mistakes and all that in his address is just rubbish. A president must embody the struggle. We are like in wartime now. And in wartime, we saw what Winston Churchill did. He rallied the people. So the president needed, even if he had a million aides, because they tell us, oh, he has this, he has that. Why should he be the one to talk? Are they saying that the prime minister of Italy has not got even more aides than the president? Even capable people. But he will still embody that war by being the one to talk to the people. Before he fell ill, Boris Johnson was talking. So this is not the thing. You can say that our president does not like to talk all the time, but it is important that he comes out when it is crucial to talk to the people. It is important. Now, he's done it, and we can all see that, yes, he has taken radical steps.
The impact.
Because he is the one capable of taking this kind of strong decision. He is empowered by the Constitution. When we are confronted by this kind of situation, to take extraordinary steps. And now he's done that. For me, I'm happy. All the people who try to always defend the president about everything, I do not support them. I wanted him to make that speech. I'm happy he has made that speech. People can say he made that speech in Chad. That is their problem. Whatever we say, they will still not stop saying those things. The people who are minded to hate the president, whatever he does, whether if the president likes, let him build houses on top of the Atlantic Ocean and donate those houses to the people who hate him. They will still abuse him. They will still say it's not the one, it's someone else who has done it. It's Jubril of Sudan. So that really is not the issue. How do we defeat this pandemic? That is the thing. That is the challenge for us Nigerians.
Still, now looking at Mr. President rose to the occasion, and for me, after I listened to Mr. President yesterday, that's one of his few classics that I can say, hitting the point and coming out, giving us highlights and reading out radical measures, and by 11 p.m. today, we're going to feel the maximum impact of what Mr. President said yesterday.
In fact, yesterday, I think one of the paragraphs that really caught my attention is, just like he has rightly said, we don't have to agree with him, but he has done the right thing. You know, the president said that in the war against the coronavirus, there is neither underreaction nor overreaction, but the right reaction. And this only goes to reflect what the presidency on his watch basically believes as the best strategies they should deploy in dealing with this tactic, with the pandemic. So it was good that, some fundamental issues were particularly raised when he said, for instance, that within the context of the national response strategy, all the donations and all the efforts will be coordinated within a framework to make sure that we avoid duplicity, we avoid deception, we avoid fraud. There should be a measure of accountability, which is good. In fact, I think a group like SERAP has said there should be daily accounting. In a pandemic in which the minimum donor is donating 1 billion naira, that's quite a huge support. So we need to also give account of what is coming in. So here's the point. I think on Saturday they released some pictures and a video of the NCDC DG and Minister of Health going to brief the president. He didn't utter a word in that video. And some of us said, I wish he had spoken. Now, Ayo, giving the speech is not the be-all and end-all. It can't be a one-off. Boris Johnson, before he tested positive,
he went on isolation.
He was speaking. When he tested positive, he did a selfie. And as I speak to him, he has already written a letter to Britain saying that, look, the worst is coming, but worse than this is coming, but let's brace up for the fight of our lives. So this is the point. The press leading in front, leading from the front, will not happen by one speech. He should be ready to brief us as often as occasion demands that he briefs us, because we need to keep hope alive. I have been calling for the lockdown personally. I have said that, look, we need a national 2-week lockdown. Why? Without that lockdown, people will not wake up to know that we are fighting a war. This pandemic is war. Go and check out what Nigeria even lost in 1918 when we had the Spanish flu. It was in Nigeria. People died in hundreds of thousands. Worldwide, the number of people that died ranges between 50 and 100 million. So if we have this sort of pandemic that you can't, it's ravaging. You have to throw everything at it. And I'm glad that he has come out to clearly say, look, port health workers should now be redeployed from the airport since there's no more activity there to other places. It is strategic. I think that all those who are in the chain of command, who are in the value chain, should make sure that at every point they are giving their very best. The fact is that the health sector, which is fighting the coronavirus, is one of the most depleted sectors in Nigeria. And so as many numbers as we can gather to fight it, let us fight, and let us hope that, we're giving it our best at every point in time.
But actually, another line of thought is, a lot of Lagosians that are saying that, look, this is the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, that's what we make what we eat the next day, as in our source of livelihood, and all this argument, and how will you sustain 14 days at a stretch, artisan, a lot of other people, small scale, large scales, entrepreneurs, all over, and they are saying that, look, that this measure is too radical. What do you make of this?
Well, it's better to take this step than watch the disease kill all of us. I want to recall what the Indian PM Modi said. He said, we are embarking on a 21 days lockdown so that we do not suffer for 21 years. Nigerians don't know what they are playing with. We lack the capacity to respond appropriately if this thing degenerates, because our health system, our health sector is in shambles. That is a fact. We do not have enough health facilities to deal with even cases not as serious as this. Ordinary primary health centers, we do not have enough.
Don't have enough.
There are many communities in the rural areas that do not even have any form of health center. So
what
the
they have is
cheapest
not
way,
equipped.
the cheapest way to deal with this pandemic is to take the precautions that we are taking. Of course, if India embarks on total lockdown for 21 days, India is a big economy. It's one of the 10 biggest economies in the world. If they can embark on that kind of shutdown, what are we talking about? Well, we need to save lives. Our people are behaving like there's really no coronavirus in town. And we've seen some people preaching and saying, no, coronavirus. There was even a pastor that said, what is coronavirus when there is chronic anointing? Can you imagine? So they've already given our people the impression that this whole thing is just a waste of time. So that's why this lockdown, I have said it that if we didn't do this lockdown, we are just wasting our time. I see there is this small Suzuki bus that they now use for to carry commuters in Lagos.
Oh, okay, yes.
They are still as small as it is, they are still overloading it. People are not, the transporters are not bothered about social distancing. All the measures that the state government rolled out that I read
the other day, and I was looking at it, this is rocket science.
You know, we said that they will not comply. Just take a trip to one of the motor parks.
Not possible.
And see how drivers are overloading their buses with passengers.
So the movement.
And on the way, they will still pick people.
Will be counterproductive.
So our people, look at what happened in Kusada, in Katsina. They set ablaze a police station because they told them that they should not go for Juma.
And they saw it as an abomination.
Whereas in India and Pakistan, people are being flogged for having the temerity to go to mosque when they've been told that there should be no form of congregation. You see the flogging as if they are animals, the way they are flogging people. Most Nigerians wait until they get to that situation. A friend of mine told me that in Kano, that is just business as usual. That people are going to work, buses are being overcrowded.
Don't forget that in Saudi Arabia they've closed the Kaaba.
Yes, now.
So why are you being more Catholic than the?
That is the problem with us. And you see,
what
we are guilty of impotent religiosity. Impotent religiosity does not suggest that we truly love God. It's just people trying to show that, oh, they really love God, but it's a lie. Beneath that, at their heart is a desire to simply make money out of religion. Period. It's impotent religiosity. It's not true religion. Impotent religiosity is not true religion. Because it is clear now that, look, obey the directive of the government of the day. It's there. Laid out in black and white, even in the Bible. But what are our people doing? They are breaching those directives.
Some people held church services yesterday.
Yes.
In Abuja, one was apprehended in Abuja.
Yes.
Very funny-looking pastor.
Yes. No, there are many of them like that. There was one too in those states. I was taking.
Okay.
I think we should even listen to the
producer. Just bring it up.
You have violated, and you have broken the rules, and you have done what is not allowed. And we know and we understand clearly well that you understand the holy books very well. And like we have always re-emphasized over and over again, that when the Messiah Jesus was asked questions by the Pharisees about Caesar, he said to them to give that which belongs to Caesar. When Apostle Paul spoke to the church of God that abide and worship at Rome, in Romans 13 verses 1 and 2, he told them to be subject to all authorities, for they that be are ordained of God. You understand that very clearly. We said people should sit down and stay at home because we understand that what we are doing is a complex puzzle. And if they sit down at home, whatever prayers they want to offer can be offered.
I hear.
That means that our prayers can be heard anywhere. What you are doing is a contravention. What you are doing is a breach of the rule. We shut down, and we, as a people under God, living and enforcing. So what we see here is against what the ministers directed us, that people should pray in their houses for now, avoid close contact, because this is Maitama. And most of the coronavirus cases we have gotten are in Maitama. And we understand very clearly, I'm a Christian, but I have done so much research on Islam, and I offered IRT when I was in Bauchi State. Yes. And I know clearly that the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran chapter 4 verse 60, that all ye who believes, obey Allah obey his messenger, and obey all those whom Allah had given authority over you. If the government and those in authorities whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have placed said, please don't gather like this, pray in your house. When we are done with Corona, then you can come back and celebrate and rejoice that Allah has sent Corona away. But for now, this gathering is not allowed, and you are so close, which is a contravention. Because one, let us believe, no one thing, that coronavirus, almost all the patients in Abuja are in this your Maitama. They are not in the suburb, they are in your Maitama. So when you in Maitama gather like this, you are not afraid of yourself. So please, please and please, pray.
Well, Jide, I'm looking for this man. No.
You see,
Wonderful delivery, both
course.
in the mosque and in the church.
Yes, and clearly they were prepared, because they know that some people want to show that they understand religion more than the rest of us. So they went there armed with the letters of the holy books, because that is how you can really unnerve any pastor or any imam,
the funny-looking pastor
who wants to show that he has knowledge. Oh, well, they've been told, don't. If it was in Pakistan or India, they would have flogged all of them out of the mosque.
They went about their listening in a very, very civilized way. He told the man, he said, you will need to answer some questions in our office.
And they took him away.
They took him away.
Now, it is because of people like this that we needed this
Shutdown.
total lockdown, because they would not obey. They would not
and
obey.
some people will still attend the church service.
Yes, even when they've been told don't do it. It's even for your own good, don't do it. But they won't listen.
I say, my body is a temple of God, nothing can.
Okay.
No, I mean, the sort of commitment we see on the part of this man is the least all of us should put up in the war against the coronavirus. It is important. As a Christian, as a born-again Christian, for the past 2 weeks, we have had church in the house. If you look at the first century Christians, what they did was that they normally met from house to the churches were people's houses. So so if your home cannot conduce for worship, something is wrong. Even if you go to church, it won't change. Yes. So your church should be your home. I think we should go back to the basics. Having said that,
that's why Thomas Paine said, my own church is my own mind. My own church is my own mind.
The
Thomas
great
Paine.
pamphleteer. You see, the fact remains that we are under some kind of siege, and we need to be as attentive, as sensitive, as creative as we can be in dealing with it. Where I stay, up until this morning, I was leaving for work around 5 or so. Up till I still saw people gathering in there. Like nothing was happening in the world. It looked as if they're in mass.
The biggest church is in Italy. But look at what's going on.
They're all really.
The Vatican.
Yes, because the fact is this, you see, the virus does not recognize who you are.
No.
It killed them like...
So what do we do? What I think we should do is that,
and you can't rig the result. You can rig election, but you can't rig the result of your test.
No, of course we can't. We can't. So let each and every one of us get properly sensitized and realize that, like what the president said in one of his in the speech yesterday, he said each of us should take the sacrifice as our own contribution to the war on the virus. We should already realize that we have a role to play in pushing the virus back. So if the least we could do is to stay at home, I think we should simply do that.
Okay, I'll go for this breakdown. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. Please stay with us. Don't go away. Thank you for joining us on Journalist Hangout. Babajide, wrapping us on this particular topic, we are looking at the international community now is not also looking good. In Spain, it's something else. In Italy, it's something else. Now the epicenter is now in New York, United States of America.
Yes, the more people are able to undergo tests in the US, the higher the number of confirmed cases. And I also believe that will be the case in Nigeria. Many people have not been tested. So if you're able to test so many people, then chances are that the number of confirmed cases will go up. I sympathize with Donald Trump because the economy was doing very well. In terms of job creation, he had done very well, and he had hoped that this will help him to get re-elected. But you can see that all the gains that he had made
has been eroded.
Have been eroded by this coronavirus. That's why he's desperate. And he said, "Look, I want the people to go back to work by Easter."
By Easter.
But it's not practicable.
It's not realistic.
While he's desperate for people to return to work, the Chinese, who gave the world this virus, they are already returning to work. Factories are being opened, and they are now being encouraged to produce equipment and products that people need across the world to defeat this thing. So they are now profiting. They are producing ventilators now and other things. They are encouraging their factories to produce those things. So while they sent the world to intensive care, they have recovered. They are now exploiting that to make money. So it's unfortunate. And their big cities did not really suffer from this. Look at Shanghai, for example, a city of 22 million people, one of the most densely populated cities in the world. How many people died in Shanghai? Just about 8 persons. You know, Beijing, just 5 persons out of about 500 cases.
Killing them in Spain.
So, but look at, meanwhile, this thing originated from their own country. But it's outside their country that people are dying. Now they are sending stuff to them.
Talking about the international community now, from what you've seen.
No, there's a strong need for global solidarity. We must, a pandemic basically means that it's a worldwide problem. That's what they call noisome pestilence. It is pestilential. And so we must understand that this is the context in which this is happening. The WHO had designated Nigeria, I think late January or early February, and said we're a high-risk country because we're a travel hub to China and some other parts of the world. Perhaps if we had taken containment at that point, because all the cases we have today are imported, and mind you,
spreading.
The virus has about 4 stages. We've passed the first stage. We entered the second stage, I think, today. And so shutting down the city today is the least we could do, because from the second stage to the third and to the fourth, it's always. So I'm sorry to say this, if you had 10 fatalities, okay, so Nigeria had a second fatality today. If you had 10 fatalities today, it could be 20, it could be 50, it could be 1,000 in 3 or 4 days. So that's how you know how bad this thing is. Let's just hope and pray that we'll find a solution as soon as we can.
Okay, Daniel is calling us from Gombe State. Thank you for joining us, Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Okay. All right, moving on now. Over the years, the prolonged insurgency in Nigeria northeast has been blamed on international conspiracy. More revelation is emerging regarding this. The Somali president, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, claimed that Boko Haram fighters had been trained in Somalia before returning to West Africa. Speaking at the Security Conference in Germany, President Mahmoud said there are proofs and evidence that sometime Boko Haram fighters were trained in Somalia before they returned to Nigeria. Meanwhile, the theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Olusegun Adeniyi, has opened up on the challenges facing the anti-terror war. In a viral video, the general said they are handicapped.
Good morning, sir. I'm standing here with Sector 2 Commander. The armed helicopter have just come over our head. The instruction I gave them, anything moving, they should engage it because most of my gun trucks are not moving. Like I said earlier, we are with the leading MRAPs, and the 3 battalions are fighting and deployed. Nobody is running. But what we have here, I will give you some estimates to guide your good decision, sir. Boko Haram has fired more than 100 mortar bombs at us. They have fired more than 80 to 100 RPGs at us. In addition to more than 8 to 10 gun throws from every side since yesterday. We have not run, and the soldiers are not misbehaving or disobeying orders. We have casualties. I will come and see you in person on what we need to do, but we are not running. Neither is any soldier misbehaving or running. Sir, if you can look at that, that's one of our MRAP tire that is not run flat, that bullet tore. We have used more than 20 MRAP tires here. That's another one, sir. We have changed, sir, we have changed close to 250 ELOS tires due to the terrain. This is what we are facing in the Timbuktu Triangle, sir. But we are not running. We are fighting as a system, and we are doing our best to contain the situation and to achieve your mission, sir.
I want Babaji to give me a perspective on this. Was that conversation with the Chief of Army Staff?
No, he recorded it.
Okay.
With the intention of sending it to the Chief of Army Staff to view. Probably he decided against making a call.
Okay.
So and he wanted him to see the troops on ground. You know, because many times we accuse soldiers of running, but I can also say many times it is not true that they run away. They engage these people. But sometimes
So
the
this
officers who are
place
far
now-
away can think, may sometimes think that, oh, our soldiers refuse to engage the enemy. But he was with them. And the sector commander was beside him, who is also a general. They led the boys to battle. So he filmed that thing, and a bad egg in the army leaked it. So he filmed it with the intention of sending it to the Chief of Army Staff so that he can watch it and see for himself. We are the MRAP. They've lost tires because what the enemy is doing, they are firing 61 mm mortar rounds at our troops.
61 mm.
Yes, you know, mortar is one of the most dangerous infantry weapons that you can think of, because you are able to keep the enemy far away. Boko Haram was firing at our troops from more than two miles. They don't want us to get close, because the Chief of Army Staff gave them instruction: go and dislodge them from their base. Dislodge them from their base. You know, we've been told that Boko Haram does not control any part of Nigeria. You and I know that it's a lie from the pit of hell. The Chief of Army Staff said, go and chase them away from their headquarters.
It's offensive.
But the Boko Haram fighters refused to let them advance.
They were holding their
So
ground.
if you listen to him, he was saying, look, from all flanks, they are firing anti-aircraft guns at us. They are firing RPGs at us. So when they are firing at you from all angles, there's nowhere to hide. You can only retreat. Because if you advance, the more you lose troops. The thing about warfare is that surprise is usually very, very vital. But usually, these guys, they understand that terrain very well. Before our troops even begin to move, they know they are on the way. They know they are coming.
Why?
So they prepare. I don't understand.
Why?
So they prepare. Oh, there's no way I'll wait for you to move close to me. They know that the Nigerian army is a superior fighting force. But they have the weapons to stop the advancement of the Nigerian troops. And that's what they have done. So we couldn't advance. The more they fire those mortars, the more your vehicles get damaged. You can see they have to be changing tires. So at a point, you'll be stuck there. And if you are stuck, God help you. Because if they come and meet you at that location with maximum force, honestly, it will not be funny. So this is the thing. You look at something like anti-aircraft guns, for example. The single barrel anti-aircraft gun can travel like 4 kilometers. The double barrel can travel 7 kilometers. So you can keep the enemy far away. It cannot get to where you are. So that is the defensive mechanism that Boko Haram has adopted. So as I always say, this is an enemy that is capable. Let us not fool ourselves. What the Somali president said is true. In fact, the late former NSA of Nigeria, Azazi, Owoye Azazi, once told me that they were trained by Al-Shabaab in Somalia. God bless his soul where he is. So that is what the president of Somalia has confirmed. While we were relaxing, watching Boko Haram grow from strength to strength, they were actually being trained by Al-Shabaab in Somalia, and then they came to Nigeria and they became what they are. Those who are handling weapons like mortar, the mortar is, you can sit inside the car and fire a mortar. They can be inside the valley and fire. They know where you are, they will fire in your direction. They don't have to see you. But once it lands, it either kills someone or damage an equipment. So that is their mission. And he confessed that, look, we are unable to move. How many gun trucks did he say that there
15.
were? 15. In different angles. So not that the gun trucks...
Have been shot
well,
at.
yes, they position those gun trucks in different angles.
Cyril, this trend of, we should look at funding, we should look at the people behind these people, for them to go to Somali, to go and actually train them. That means there's a kind of elaborate program, and all this went on. It could go for months, it could go for years. But what happened to our intelligence gathering capability?
I am completely dumbfounded. And you narrowly said what I was going to say. The question I'm asking is, who is Boko Haram? It appears that we are even fighting the wrong person. I think we are dealing with the wrong person. We've not answered that fundamental question. Who is Boko Haram? Or to say, we are seeing a face, but who is the person? Who is the being? What is Boko Haram? That question has not been answered. At the very least, I would say Boko Haram is an industry. Okay? It has become an economy within the Nigerian economy. And it will do just anything to sustain or to achieve its survival, even if it means Nigeria should fall. So is Nigeria throwing everything it can at Boko Haram? I think I'll leave that answer to people, to experts like Jida and others. Are we throwing everything we have at Boko Haram? Like rightly said, you cannot beat an enemy of this nature without solid intelligence, without dealing with fifth columnists, which Alex Bade mentioned.
No, he even admitted that the intelligence was wrong. Because what they thought was that only a handful of fighters, Boko Haram fighters, will be confronted.
You can imagine that.
But the overwhelming firepower that they faced, which stopped our troops from advancing, cannot come from a handful of fighters. So clearly, these are fighters entrenched, and they were many, and they had the equipment, they had the weapons to stop us from getting to where they are, and that's what they have done.
Okay, I'll take this break again. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Please don't go away. Come back. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangouts, and we're reaching you live from Lagos, Nigeria here. And Babajide, moving back to our strategy and the way we confront Boko Haram, and I don't know what the military can do to stop this seeming leakage from their camp. I don't know when they get a kind of intelligence about Boko Haram, and before you know, you might have fifth columnists within their people.
No, there's no doubt that there are fifth columnists. How we locate them and deal decisively with them is the problem. There's also no doubt that many times the intelligence community do not get it right. And General Adeniyi said that clearly. General Adeniyi said that clearly, Segun Adeniyi, that the intelligence was wrong. I do not also think that the preparation was good enough. Because if you know, and those boys are very good in ground intelligence. They know what's going on. They know the area. In our own case, did we know how many troops we are going to confront? The answer is no. Because when you know, you can then respond with maximum force. But clearly, it was after they got there that they started having this problem. They now realized that they could not advance. It's a shameful thing that a soldier leaked this video that was meant to be communication between the theater commander and the Chief of Army Staff. If not because of this video, probably the Sector 2 commander will have been court-martialed. Court-martials are common in the army. They will just accuse them of sabotage or that they ran away, they refused to fight. But this video has shown that they were all on ground. They were good to go. They were ready. They were taking fire from the enemy, and they did not run away. This is what our troops are going through. When you meet troops, especially the junior ones, they will tell you all kinds of stories. Where are the T-72 tanks? We lack the quality engineers that can service them, that can maintain them. Those tanks are gone. And in this kind of terrain, the T-72 Russian tank is designed for that kind of terrain. It's a desert warfare. Oh, look at what we are going through. So the man, I just hope that the Chief of Army Staff will use his wisdom and take decisive action, know what to provide the boys, to encourage them, because clearly these people refuse to run away from battle. Adeniyi was almost killed the other day in an ambush, if you remember.
Yeah, he lost his driver. Many of these things Nigerians don't get to know. He lost his driver in that battle because his own van, if you see the bullet hole, I guess it was even an AA that was fired at them, because the hole was so wide. So he was lucky as theater commander that he didn't die. So these guys are taking risk. A lot of them, he had already battlefield himself.
Yes, he joins them in battle. So, and that's what he's saying now, that we have casualties. If you look at the ground, you see some of the soldiers have been wounded, and they were attending to them. Some had died.
One was even coming to show his leg and say, "Look at."
So this is the thing. It's a tough war. You see, Ayo, when people say Boko Haram ragtag, with what we see, they think that we exaggerate Boko Haram's powers or abilities. But with what they did to the Chadian troops, killing 92, even the president admitted that 92 died. You should know that it's not an enemy to play with. And they have entrained themselves. They are way better than before. So the truth is, in warfare, surprise is one of the cardinal principles of warfare. No matter how strong the enemy is, if you can surprise the enemy, they will keep struggling. Before you know it, you have inflicted enough damage, and then that phase of the battle, you have won. In that battle for that peninsula in the Lake Chad area, they inflicted tremendous damage on Chadian troops because they planned for the battle and they surprised the enemy.
Sorry, because of this coronavirus news story, we've not been able to, hear so much about what is happening in the Northeast. But from what we are gathering, so many things happening, and events of the past few days will show you that the Boko Haram guys, they've intensified their war against the country.
They are not sleeping. The other day, the spokesman of the, I think, was it spokesman of the command, said that 47 soldiers were killed in an ambush. Some days later, the military headquarters, the defense headquarters, revised the number. I don't know how many were killed. Even if one soldier alone was killed, this is the issue. We are fighting an enemy. That fact is established. But even if we were to throw all we had against Boko Haram insurgents on the field, we're making a big mistake. I think they only make up a particular component, less than 50 perhaps, of the real enemy. The Somali president spoke in Germany. I do not know if between when he spoke and now, if we've attempted to reach out. Al-Shabaab alone is keeping Kenyan, in fact, he's keeping the whole of Eastern Africa busy. Intelligence services in Eastern Africa, they don't sleep. In 2013, Al-Shabaab inflicted a serious damage on Kenya. The mall attack that killed the Ghanaian poet and a lot of people.
Because Kenya has been at the head of the AU,
of course,
force fighting them.
Yes, So these are, and Kenya has troops in Somalia. So these are the issues. We are fighting Boko Haram, but it is not just the boys carrying mortars and guns on the field. Boko Haram is a more sophisticated, more real, a bigger enemy than what we see. And so we must go, yes. And so we must go after the real enemy. The fact is that nobody is bigger than Nigeria.
It's no longer the
rat tank. We are a sovereign
entity. They used to call them.
If you want to attack
maybe when they were involving at the initial stage. But right now, they're formidable.
They can't, because
any group that attacks army bases, dislodges soldiers and loots weapons, And that's what they did. That's what they did to even the Chadians. So they looted their weapons.
Killing 91.
So you cannot call that a ragtag army.
Oh.
Reconnaissance, intelligence, strategy, tactics,
They have it. They have
firepower.
it. They have it. They have it.
I want to thank you, Cyril Abako, for the rest of the lockdown. We're going to be together. So that we have to.
Jide's birthday was
going
on Saturday,
And
he was off duty, so I said he's Nigeria's modern Cicero.
well, happy birthday,
Well,
happy belated birthday.
Koro has done Ojoro.
Has corroded.
So after the, we know what to do, and that's our offering today. Just tomorrow for another episode of the program. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. God bless Nigeria. See you tomorrow.